Hello. Welcome to Screen Weens. I am your host, London. And with me is your other host, Thomas. This is episode 112, I believe.
Is it really?
Yes. And today, we will be talking about Creature from the Black Lagoon, directed by Jack Arnold from the year 1954. Mm-hmm. And also The Shape of Water from the year 2018, I believe. Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
It might be 17. No, I think it might be 18.
17 or 18. We don't do research here.
I saw it when it came out. I didn't have to do research. That's how that works, right?
And also joining us is my cat.
Yeah. On an episode where we will mention cat violence.
That's true. Allie, I need you to close your ears later.
Aww.
But yes, and then we'll be recording another episode right after this. Mm-hmm. But I'll change shirts so no one notices.
I'll take off my jacket or something. We'll figure something out. But, yes. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Are we just jumping in?
No.
Okay.
So, how was your week? What'd you watch?
My week was okay. Let's see. Let's pull out ye old Letterboxd. Yeah. I didn't watch a ton of movies outside of, we finished Star Wars Visions.
Oh, yeah?
I really enjoyed it. There were a couple that I didn't love, but there were two that just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Really, if you have an hour and a half, definitely.
Yeah, I probably will sit down and watch it soon, or maybe after my trip.
I watched. Let's see. I think I went to the theater the day after we recorded last week. Mm-hmm. What is it? Yeah. So I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Yeah. Which is based on a documentary about these televangelists. Who were evil. But this is a biopic pretty much about those same things. It's kind of like a by-the-numbers movie, but there's a couple really good parts. Jessica Chastain plays the titular character, and she's fantastic in the role. And the makeup department did a super good job of making her look older and stuff, because she plays the same character throughout 40 years of her life. Apparently though, the makeup, they did so much makeup on her that she might have just permanent skin damage because of it.
Yeah, that's known to happen, but usually I think of that kind of stuff happening back in the 20s or whatnot, back when they were a little less up to film codes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the Scarecrow, the guy who played the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, had facial scarring.
But if you'd have a chance, it's a pretty good movie. Andrew Garfield plays her husband in it.
Okay.
And he's pretty good too. They do not do a good job of making him look older. He just looks like middle-aged Andrew Garfield the entire movie. I'm like, hey, look, it's Andrew Garfield with short hair. And I'm like, look, it's Andrew Garfield with gray hair.
Yeah.
I watched Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, yeah? How was that?
Horrifying. Ben Platt looks like he's 40 years old in the movie, even though he's 27, but he's playing a 17-year-old. It's so fucking... It's very funny for the first 30 minutes, but then the novelty of it wears off, the novelty of how bad it is, and then the rest is just boring bad. It's awful. It's one of the worst things I've seen this year. Oh, it's terrible. But it's also you need to watch it. I watched Blue Bayou, which is by the... have you seen Twilight?
Twilight?
Yeah.
No, never heard of it.
Justin Shawn directed and is the main character in Blue Bayou. Mm-hmm. And he is, the Asian friend in Twilight.
Oh, okay.
But he's done a couple of movies that I've been meaning to watch, but I just hit the camera with his tail.
I think you want? Do you want out of room?
No, he wants to sit there.
Alright. What? What's up?
Alley attack! Blue Bayou is really annoying that it's bad. Like, it has a lot of things going for it. It's about, like, a first-generation Korean immigrant, but he was, like, adopted by an American family when he was, like, 2. And he's getting deported because they never, like, filed everything correctly and stuff. And he has a family. He has a daughter on the way. He has, like, a stepdaughter that he really loves, and he has his, wife. And a lot of those aspects are really good, but, like, there's a lot of really gross parts of it. Like, her ex-husband is, like, this abusive police officer, but he gets this, like, really dumb redemption arc in it. It's, like, really plastered on and really just makes me feel gross when it just feels like it's pandering. Like, it's like, oh, but no, don't worry, not all cops. Some are pretty good. And it's especially bad because one of the characters that's, like, friendly to the guy is literally an ICE agent. Oh, like, he just works for ICE, but he's like, but I'd let you go. Like, what the fuck, dude? But yeah, it's just annoying. It should be good. And there are some really, like, genuinely moving parts to it, but it wasn't good. And then I watched Shang-Chi again. Still really, really like it. Like, really, really, really like it.
Well, hell yeah.
And then we started watching a show on Netflix called Squid Game. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I think I might have seen, like a thing.
There's been a couple, like, really big, like, South Korean, like, mini-series that have come out lately. Like Alice in Borderland and Sweet Home, I think it was called. Which I'm also intrigued by these, but I want to watch Squid Game because I'd heard really good things. And I really like the premise because I really like how, like, these stupid premises where it's like a children's game or it's like an escape room, but it's deadly. It's one of those things. But it's actually, like, pretty good. And the characterizations in it are, like, I really enjoy the characters. And it's, like, definitely takes itself pretty seriously, but in an interesting way. And there's some fun shots. Like, in general, I've been really enjoying it. We only watched the first 3 episodes so far, and I think there's 9, so.
Okay.
I'll probably finish that this week, so.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably watch one tonight. Yeah. And that is pretty much what I watched this week. Yep.
Heck yeah. Let's see. I watched The Mummy over here, clearly, because we're going to be talking about that more.
Oh, yeah, we watched The Mummy.
Then, when I got home, I watched The Mummy Returns. And then I went through and I rewatched the Karis Mummy movies from Universal.
Yeah. You loved them. Thought they were okay.
I mean, I enjoy them, but really only, like, The Mummy's Hand is pretty good. Well, it's fine. Like, I enjoy it. I don't think it's a movie that I can give a stamp pretty good, because then most people who would go and watch it would be like, what the fuck? This is like a movie from the 40s. But I feel like it's got a nice mixture of elements. Like, it's got some action. It's got, like, some comedic stars in it. I think the mummy makeup's cool. So, like, stuff like that, it's got it going for it. Those movies are a lot like the Hammer movie. Like, that's what that one was mostly based off of. Where it's more, like, slasher-like.
But it wasn't made by Hammer?
It wasn't made by Hammer. It was made by Universal. So, basically, like, Hammer took basically, like, kind of all the Mummy movies and kind of, like, mixed them together and kind of, like, made their Mummy movie. But they leaned mostly towards the Karis Mummy series, whereas the 1932 Mummy is, like, a different mummy.
Okay.
And yeah, So I watched those. There's The Mummy's Hand, which I think is the best out of, like, that sect of, like, mummy movies. Then there's, I believe it's Tomb. Then it is Ghost. Tomb is just a rehash of the first one. Or, not the first. The first one is in The Mummy's Hand. Because I view it as its own separate thing. And then The Mummy's Ghost. That one's got it's mostly not great, but it's got a great ending. And then the next film comes in and kind of undoes that ending. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Classic.
Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. And then after that... Much?
Paul Blart Mall Cop 2?
No. I had a friend come over yesterday and we watched Midsommar. And then that was my first time seeing it.
How'd you feel about it? Because I remember when it came out, it was like Michael and Joe. They're like, this movie's fucking incredible. And I watched it and I was pretty mid on it.
I imagine I probably would have felt the same back then that I feel now had I watched it. I thought it was good. Like, I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it was like fucking transcended like cinema or anything. There's definitely... I feel like there's some things that Ari Aster like leans on as like a horror element that I'm like, I don't really buy this. Like, I think he likes using people who are like disabled or disfigured and kind of using them as like a symbol for horror. Cause like, there's obviously like the little girl from Hereditary, but then there's like this little boy in Midsommar who's got like, I don't know the proper term for it, but like the Elephant Man kind of thing going on. And here it felt like really cheap. I was willing to let it slide with Midsommar, or not Midsommar, with Hereditary, because it's like, I didn't think it really stood out too much and was trying to like make commentary on anything, but like, now it just feels like he's trying to lean on that kind of thing. But I thought it was good for the most part. I think I almost critiqued the boyfriend in the movie for being a little too like, over the top, because he literally makes like every wrong decision. But then it's like, all right, there are certainly men like that who do exist. So then I was like, all right, fine. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it was like changed my perspective on anything, but yeah, I don't know. Enjoyable movie. I think most people will like it.
I do eventually want to watch the director's cut, which is like 3 hours.
I watched the theatrical cut.
And just because, like, a lot of my problems with the movie is, like...
I read your review on it, and I agree with a lot of the points that you had brought up.
And I feel like a lot of my problems with the characters might be alleviated a bit with the director, with, like, an extra 30 minutes, so...
Yeah, because they really do just, like... There's, like... It's like you spend like an hour and a half with these people and then it's just like suddenly like a bunch of them are killed off and it's just like it happens so quickly. One of them's off screen and you're just like,
Not
I guess that was kind of spoilers, but I was like, you know, something's going to happen.
Or we're lying. No.
Yes. But yeah, then...
Who'd you watch that with?
My friend Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey!
Yeah.
Listens to the podcast.
I don't know if she
Hey,
does.
Kelsey.
Hello, if you are listening.
Well, now they have to listen.
True.
Because I talked to them.
And then they also showed me the first, 4 episodes of Kingdom, the South Korean show. And I liked that. I thought...
That's one... Is that the, like, medieval, like, zombie one?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch it. I know that... I think that has 2 seasons now. I've heard that season 1's a little slow.
The first 2 episodes are definitely a little slow, but around, like, episode 3, I started, like, really getting into it. The first episode's got some issues. It's got some, like, setup expository, like, issues, like, yes, you... character who has been my longtime faithful friend kind of stuff, and it's just like, alright, that's a little hammy. But once they get into like the current and things have been established a little bit and it gets like breathing room, it starts to get good. But But yeah, so I watched the first 4 out of like 6 episodes of the first season. So I'll probably like finish that off when I get home tonight.
Right.
The first season. I'll probably jump into the second season in the near future. Or who knows, maybe I'll just...
On your car ride.
Ride straight through it. Yeah, definitely.
Just getting those like VR glasses, goggles that you put your phone in and be like, okay, bye.
Right. But yeah, so... Yeah, and then I watched the movies for today.
Cool. We do have some questions.
Pierre coming in.
Question 1. What is the worst Subway topping? I don't like necessarily like... I like Subway fine, and I can't think of like a bad topping. Like that I guess American cheese. I fucking hate I love cheese. American cheese, I'm disgusted by it.
I'd probably agree with that. I don't know. I'm sure they probably got a nastier cheese in my, like, cheese literacy.
I think the only ones they have are American pepper jack, Swiss, and cheddar.
Ah, then never mind. Yeah, fuck American cheese.
Get some more cheeses. And then they have Parmesan.
Yeah.
Some more fucking cheese. Or maybe they have mozzarella. I can't remember. I think they're both.
Maybe the cake bread that they've got. It's like all their bread. I guess in like the UK or somewhere, like there was like a rule where they couldn't call their bread because it had too much sugar in it, so they had to classify it as a cake. Which I found pretty funny. But yeah. Yeah, so probably American cheese. I don't know. Olives maybe. I like olives, but I kind of like olives so I don't like them on stuff. That's just how I feel about it. But yeah. That's my answer to that question.
Question 2. Who wins in a fight? 1,000 praying mantis or Jesus Christ, the man himself?
1,000 praying mantis. Because they pray, you know. Yeah. No,
Wouldn't that give him power?
Well...
Is this before or after his resurrection?
See, that's a good question. I mean, I honestly, I think it's the praying mantis because 1,000 praying mantis, you know, you can for sure go out and find 1,000 of them. I don't know. People have been looking. They ain't found Christ. So...
Thomas is looking every day.
Where is he? Is he behind that dumpster over there?
1,000 praying... What do they do? Do they bite?
Praying mantises are fucked up. Like that's...
Are they?
Yeah, like...
Those are the ones that eat their spouses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got like the big long claw hands. Like, I'm sure 1,000 of them could probably fuck up a human for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably say that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, Jesus Christ's, like, moveset, though. I don't know if, like, if he got a buff after the resurrection. Or if... Didn't he, like, resurrect and he's like, hey, I'm alive. And then he just, like, he's just like, I'm going back to heaven now.
Yeah, no, pretty much. He's like...
But I can do this, but I'm going to die.
That's what they say.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'd probably say praying mantis, though. Question 3. You must take a bath in motor oil, but it is warm. That's it. No, that's my answer.
Yeah, that's also my answer. I feel like that would be bad for my skin and my orifices.
You must. Okay. Thanks for the questions, Pierre.
Yeah. Woo! All right.
Jack Arnold. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Take it away, Thomas.
Creature from the Black Lagoon begins by telling us about the beginning of the Earth and how God created it. A very odd touch for a science fiction horror feature, but, you know, 50s.
I kind of liked it.
It's corny, but, you know, it is what it is. Then we come along a researcher who's in the Amazon. It's actually Florida, but we're going to pretend it's the Amazon.
It's the Amazon.
And he finds...
Was it Florida?
They shot it in Florida.
Classic.
Yeah, and he finds a fossilized, like, webbed hand, like a fishman hand. And he's like, wow, let me just fucking yank this out, take it back to the lab, show all my favorite fucking white scientists, and we'll fucking come back on an expedition and try to find more of these. So he comes across David and Kay, that's right. David and Kay, who are a couple deep diver researchers or something.
And lovers.
And they've got a weird love triangle with, like, basically Kay got into the science field by working under this one scientist who also kind of got propelled by, like, the work she put in, which I find very ironic because sliding in here, I don't know if you know this about this film. The Gillman, creature design was designed by a woman named something Patrick's. I can't remember her name. But basically, one of the men who was, like, the head of the Universal Monsters, like, makeup department at the time was like, no, a man should get the credit. So he got all the credit for years. But recent history, she's obviously been getting acknowledged for it because, you know, our generation's woke as fuck and goes, hey, what the fuck is this shit? But, you know.
Is that man still alive? Because I'll kill him if he is.
I don't know. Here, let me look up their names real quick.
Fuck that guy.
Creature.
Because that design for 50s, it looks fucking awesome.
No, it's great because
it looks still like good. Still,
most monster designs from that era like look bad on land, and then they've got this fucking like Gillman suit like under the water.
It's so funny to think that this was like 4 years before like the Hammer movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this looks incredible.
No, absolutely. They shot a lot of it in a tank, but it looks like atmospheric.
Yeah, no, I talk about like shooting on water and in water so fucking hard. Mm-hmm. And they like Taboo. I remember watching Taboo and being like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah, Taboo's good.
And then this movie, I'm like, geez, this is awesome. Like, this movie looks fantastic most of the time. I really like a lot of the shots of it. And it's like, out of all the monster movies we watched in the last couple weeks, like, this looked, I guess besides Shape of Water. Shape of Water looks fantastic too.
Yeah.
But that was also made 65 years later or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in general, I thought this movie looked like pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I'd probably put up a case for like Frankenstein as well. But they're two very different like styles that they're going for, so it makes sense. Millicent Patrick is the woman who...
She alive?
Let me look. There's a whole article about her on NPR. Let's see. This is what she looked like. I don't know if that's going to show up.
It shows up. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is she the gill guy or is she the woman holding the gun?
Oh, gee, I wonder. Let's see. Let me just scan this real quick. I highly doubt she's alive because she looked like she was like in her at probably like 30s at that point.
There's a chance she might be 100. She's probably dead.
Probably. Let's see. Trying to figure out the name
of the asshole.
Yeah.
I hope that guy is suffering. So weird to think that all the movies we've been watching recently, everyone's in it just fucking dead.
Yeah.
It's weird watching old movies sometimes. Or even, it's more weird when I watch a newer movie and I know that person's dead. Like whenever I watch a movie with Anton Yelchin, I'm like...
Yeah, it just feels like you're like, man, I can't wait till the next movie comes out.
Yeah, like, I remember like, fuck. Oh, by the way, I will make us watch Dear Evan Hansen for the podcast in November.
Oh, okay.
I have a great idea for a movie to watch with that.
Oh, gee.
The movie we're watching with that, I think, is incredible, though. So,
well, remember, we're doing that one thing in November, too.
Is it this thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Well, we'll watch it sometime.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, that won't take all November.
I'll take most of it. I think there are 6 things in there still.
I thought you said that there were 4.
Well, there are 4?
Yeah, because I thought there were 2, and then you were like, no, there's 4. And I was like,
Okay.
I swear if it jumped up to 6.
Yeah, I keep adding things.
No, just Pierre keeps coming in and adding movies.
Aragon.
We already covered Aragon.
We should cover it again.
For a second, I had to think if we covered like the book or the movie. I'm like, no, I haven't read the book.
Not yet.
Let's see. Bud Westmore is the name of the guy.
Hey, Bud Westmore.
Hey,
fuck you.
Bud. Fuck you. Yeah. Let me see if he's still alive. He's not.
Most certainly not.
Bud Westmore died in 1973.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Man, he probably died like in the threshold of just credit. Everyone was just, no one gave a shit in 1973. Yeah. Internet didn't exist.
Specifically talking about the water scenes in this, because the main character, the way he walked around kind of reminded me of like Sean Connery's Bond. And when I was watching all the Bond movies, I remember, I think it was Thunderball, the one that's like, a lot of it is in water. That movie looks fucking shit. It looks bad in its water scenes. That came out like 15 years after this, or 20 years. I'm like, what? Look at this movie! This movie's awesome! Everything, but that one is like, you can't see anything. The shots aren't very good. The characters, you have no idea which character's which. While this one, I'm like, this is good. This is great.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure, like, I don't know this for certain, but I'm pretty sure, like, Universal was, like, the king of the coup back then, you know? They had been making, like, fucking monster hits for fucking years. And
yeah.
I think most of them, like, tend to taper off with the budget and, like, the production a little bit. Like, by the end of the Mummy movies...
It's like, here's $6.
Like, the final Mummy movie, instead of doing the makeup, because it just was so time-consuming and expensive, they just put a mask on Lon Chaney. So, Lon Chaney Jr. But, there's a difference. They're both pretty popular. But yeah, so, basically, so they go to the Amazon, not Florida, and, they, come across a living version of the Fishman that they found the fossil of. And he's basically just kind of like trying to get him out of his fucking environment. And then he sees Kay swimming around and he's like, fuck, never mind.
I'm horny.
So he starts trying to kill the men off one by one and, you know, tries to run off with the woman. But this is a movie made in the 50s. So, you know, he gets shot to death. And yeah, I mean, there's stuff that happens, like, there's, like, the love triangle going on.
Yeah.
And it's not really a love triangle, that's kind of weird.
It's more David and Kay, but Kay's like, but he's kind of cool.
It's basically like she thinks she owes him something for, like, her position in the science field. And it's like, there's one scientist...
He owes you everything.
There's one scientist who's like, yeah, he owes you everything. And then the Gill Man comes up and attacks him, and then...
He almost died.
I think... I don't know if it's implied Kay, just a fucking torch hits the monster.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kay just... is like that just Kay just fucking throws a torch.
But he doesn't seem to light on fire. He's just fucked up from the monster. And then this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because the monster's like on fire and it jumps in, and they like... show it on fire for a little while. Yeah. And it's like, all of it's real.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow.
Who played the monster?
A couple different people. There was one actor for the water, and there was one actor for the on-land stuff. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. Let me see. Hopefully this doesn't...
Ben Chapman on land. Rico Browning in water. Yes.
And then...
And it looks like Rico Browning returned for the other two ones, but Ben Chapman did not.
The other two ones are...
bad?
The second one's not, like, too bad.
Is that yeah, I've heard... That has, like, the same director. I've heard that one's, like...
That, like, I haven't watched either of them since I was a kid, but the second one's pretty good. It's got the debut of Clint Eastwood in his feature debut. I think. Clint Eastwood.
Fuck that guy. No, he's fine. Well, he's not fine, but he's 90. He'll die soon.
And then the creature walks among us. I don't know.
Does he wear a suit?
No, they
Does he play tennis?
Basically light spoilers for the second one, but he gets burnt in that movie. So then they're like, we have the technology to turn him into more of a man than a fish man. So then they try to make him like human, and it's super fucking weird. But yeah. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think there was a scandal. I didn't do any research leading up to this. I'm just running off of like old information stored in here. I think there was an incident where the actor for Kay, so the scene where he's carrying her at the end, she hit her head on one of the rocks, and I think that they had to shut down production for a little while, and the media was like, oh my god, would you look at this? And it's it's kind of hard to see in there. Accidents happen. I don't feel like that one's a big deal. Yeah. Not compared to something that would happen on the Wizard of Oz set or something, where it's clearly,
look, 40 children have died.
We're gonna set you on fire today. It's just oh, after I just returned from the fire incident? No.
Sweet.
But yeah, I like this movie. I think it's definitely dated in a lot of aspects. But it's a 50s version of a cautionary tale on science kind of.
Leave native things alone. Leave them alone.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. Good. Typical Beauty and the Beast story. I like the ending.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie. The music in it's really good. I really like, especially the climax song. I was like, this song fucking rocks. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think this movie it keeps the aesthetics of a 30s monster movie. They're trying to be oh, yep, it's a Universal monster movie. It's the old one, but I'm it looks really nice still, and I like the characters. I like their dynamics. It's your friends back,
I guess. Jesus.
I don't know what it is. Whenever I'm in here, I don't see any flies, but as soon as you walk in, there's one fly that shows up.
Dude,
Thomas Jr.
I don't know. It doesn't follow me anywhere else.
Thomas Jr. But yeah, I really ended up really enjoying this one.
Yeah. Cool. I definitely thought you might not like this one when I was watching it. I was I could see him thinking it's way too 50s boring, fucking.
I like a lot of the character moments in it. I thought they were interesting enough, and there's some interesting dialogue and stuff that's a man you're way better than him. I'm this is cool. This is some good. I like the dialogue, and I was I wasn't bored by it. I was this is cool. This is cool, and it uses its time really wisely, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's a very
I don't feel it. I was never bored. I thought it had really good pacing.
I think the first initial setup part where we're meeting David and Kay and they're going back and analyzing, but once they get back and they find the bodies of the local people that he was using to for his expedition, I thought that's when the film starts to pick up, because obviously that's when all the monster shit starts to happen. But yeah. Creature from the Black Lagoon. You would give this one a 7. An 8. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You would give this one a 7.
Yeah.
7?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Cool. Let's talk about the horny one, though.
Yeah.
Fuck. So I've seen this one.
Okay, I was going to say, I couldn't remember if you had seen this one.
Yeah, I saw this one in 2018, and I really liked it in 2018. Spoiler, I still really like this movie.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like Del Toro's films quite a bit. I like Pan's Labyrinth. I really like Pacific Rim. I love The Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, The Devil's Backbone's great.
And and this movie, and I think that's all the ones I've seen from him. I haven't seen
Kronos.
I haven't seen Mimic.
I haven't seen
the Crimson
Peak,
obviously. Oh, fuck yeah! I've seen Hellboy 1 and 2. I forgot.
Which also
I haven't seen Blade 2,
which also has a fish man in it.
Yeah, same guy, brother.
Same actor. Yeah.
So I'm like, that's the same guy.
The same guy.
It's
Same
the
guy.
same guy. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, give him. When does Hellboy take place?
Like around World War or like post World War.
It's got to be his brother.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
But yeah, Shaved Water takes place in Cold War America, 1962. Mm-hmm. It's similar in the sense that there's a fish guy in it. And there's a woman in it, too.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon. Holy shit. He's good in this movie. He's fucking scary.
Menacing.
The part where he's like, sit down to the husband. Mm-hmm. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh, God, I love his. He's like probably like contender for one of the best movie villains in this one. Yeah. Obviously, just that's a broad list. I'm not gonna put a number on it, but like,
and he's like just evil, pretty much.
Yeah,
there are a couple small moments where like he says something that's like, "Hey, this could be sympathetic if it wasn't from like the worst guy you've ever seen."
Yeah, but I like they give you just enough to kind of like get an idea of like the perspective of his character, but not to like sympathize with him, because like there's a whole lot of
not to make excuses either. It's like
he's evil. Like he's a man of like the 50s. He's like a 50s super agent stereotype, but depicted realistically, where he's just a fucking terrible person.
Yeah,
and like he gets like a new car, and he's like, "Oh, this is the car of the future. You look like a man of the future," but like he's got like fucking just decomposing fingers.
Oh, the scene where he just rips them off. He's like, crush your enemies to dust.
There's multiple scenes where he's just like, fuck, I'm just gonna give these a little squeeze. Oh, that's okay. I'm like, go to a doctor. Clearly, you'd be better off with nubs at this point. Just have them take them off. Get some wooden replacements. It'll probably hurt harder when you punch people.
Yeah, so our main character, Sally Hawkins. What is her character's name?
With character names.
Judy.
I'll pull up.
Not Judy.
I'll pull up IMDb.
Judy Jennifer Jargle. Fortnite.
It is Eliza.
Oh, it's pretty close with the last one. Yeah, Eliza. Oh yeah, Hinata just kept quoting Hamilton when we were watching it. Eliza. So Eliza is a mute. She does not talk.
Octavia
Spencer.
You know what her character's name is in this movie?
I remember her middle name's Delilah. What's her?
Zelda.
Oh yeah, it's Zelda.
I know that's obviously.
That is a real name.
It is a real name. It was Scott Fitzgerald.
Zelda Fitzgerald, yeah. F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think it's that the
one. I got it.
You're like, wait a minute.
I stopped partway through. I'm like, that's not right.
Doesn't sound right.
I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, so Eliza works, she got her, like, voice box cut when she was a baby and she was left in, like, a dumpster or something.
She's got these, like, scars.
Yeah. But she works at, like, a top-secret military facility as a janitor, as a cleaner. But here she meets the fish boy. They bring in the Asset, which is just a fish guy, and she's horny as fuck, and she immediately starts trying to befriend him, and she feeds him eggs, and then she teaches him sign language for like music or I think it was like egg or something like that. And he like immediately starts learning, and it's very cool. I really like the sequences where they're just like talking and he's learning and he's like, and Michael Shannon's like, the Russians want it, so we need it, but we don't want to be friends with it, so we're going to kill it and do an autopsy. And the scientist is like, what the fuck? Why? It's like, I've seen it communicate. Just let me like hang out with it. He's like, no. And that scientist is secretly a Russian spy? But then the Russians also want it dead, so he's like, fuck that. I'm going to help this horny woman take her fish boyfriend, and they can live together in her 4th-story apartment above a movie theater, and they can fuck. And that's pretty much it. Like,
yeah, yeah. There's definitely like the themes of like, you know, the people who are in the minority. Like, obviously, like the main character's mute. She's got a friend named Giles, who's like the guy from Cabin in the Woods and Step Brothers.
Giles?
Is it Giles?
I'm pretty sure it's Giles.
Oh,
did you watch this on mute?
I barely pay attention to names. I was looking at the IMDb.
Giles?
That's the dad from Step Brothers.
That guy's really good in this movie.
Yeah.
He's in general, he's like a really good actor.
He is.
But I think all the performances in the movie are like spectacular.
I agree. But basically, let's see. Yeah, he's like...
He's old. Oh, he's also
an old gay guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he gets rejected hard in the movie.
And then he also learns that the guy's a racist at the same time.
Oh yeah, he's just like, oh fuck, this sucks. I like how he like wipes his... Because he's going to this diner to visit the like waiter there, and he gets like their awful pie because he's like, this guy's cute. And then the guy, like, a couple black people try to sit down at the bar.
Like, no, take out only, fuck you!
And then he's like, that was after he, like, the guy just literally put his hand on his hand. He's like, oh, I think you need to leave too. So he just, like, fucking wipes the pie off his tongue with a napkin and just sets it down. And this is after you, like, just, basically, like, he's been trying to sell a painting the whole fucking movie up to that point, and it's clear, like, his boss had asked him to leave, so clearly.
Probably because he was gay.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, man, that fucking sucks. That shit pisses me off. But yeah, so they get a ragtag team together. They bust the fish man out, get it into the apartment. Michael Shannon gets in trouble by his big soldier boss, daddy. General boss. And yeah, he's also got a weird fascination with
General Hoyt.
Not General Hoyt. What's the main character's name?
Oh, Eliza.
Eliza.
Yeah, because he fucking hates that his wife talks. He's like, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm like, are you okay, sir?
Yeah.
Have you heard of therapy? No. Men in the 50s did not know what therapy was. Still don't, unfortunately.
What? So yeah, basically, man, my biggest gripe with the movie, and it's not even the movie, it's just a character in the movie. I'm like, you piece of shit. He had been such a good character up until that point, is the Russian guy. Because you can tell, like, the whole movie, he's like, I'm dealing with, like, this ethical dilemma. I don't know what to do. And he makes the right decision, and then, like, he's already dead. And then Michael Shannon's like, you're already dead. Tell me who did it. And he's like, he just straight up tells him. I mean, he doesn't say the name, but he's like, they aren't
clean.
Yeah. And it's like, why? You fucking asshole? Like, why would you do that?
I mean, he was being tortured.
Dude,
maybe he's just like, I don't know.
At that point, like, the man knew what the consequences... He should have known what the consequences were going to be. Like, he should have known that he was going to get whacked by the Russians or him. And it's like, he should have been ready for it regardless. So it's like, I don't know.
Maybe he was just an agent of chaos. And he wanted to... He was like, I'm going out. Might as well make things a little interesting.
Perhaps. But yeah, so then... the fish man, the gill man, I don't know. Do they give him a name in this movie?
They call him the asset, or the fish guy, I think. It.
Well, the fish man, it is slowly dying in the bathtub because it clearly needs a better environment than
a bathtub with salt in it.
So they're waiting for a night for it to rain.
Because then once there's heavy rain, the canals will open into the ocean.
Yep. So then, yeah, they try to make their getaway. Michael Shannon shows up at the last second.
Shoots the fish guy twice, and then Eliza like twice.
Yep. And then fucking stepdad fucking comes in with the fucking wooden beam and just fucking bops fucking Michael Shannon right in the face. I love that scene.
Yeah.
It's so gratifying. And then the gill man comes over, slits his fucking throat open after glowing blue, and he's like, oh, you are a god.
He's like, oh, fuck, you are a god. That scene, the fish guy looks so fucking cool too at that moment.
Oh,
he like just earlier we see him like heal because he eats a cat. Whoops. He's hungry.
Yeah, I like that the movie didn't dawdle on that and try to make it into a negative character.
It's like he's a wild, like
it's like I get it, it's fine. He's a wild animal. He didn't know any better. The next scene we see him playing with some cats, and it's like, all right, he
gets. But he also like at that point he had struck dude Giles' arm, and he was bleeding, but he healed it, and then he also made his hair grow back.
Do you think at the end do you think his motivation was like, this is like our thing where we just put our hands on a head, or do you think he was trying to get him to do one last hair growth?
I like to imagine the second one, but it was probably the first.
Probably.
But yeah, so when he does it and he just like instantly heals himself, I'm like, holy shit.
Yep.
And then he just fucking kills Michael Shannon. That scene's really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then he jumps in the water with Eliza and heals her. And then they...
Well, maybe.
Yes.
I mean...
Yes.
The movie shows that happening.
It happens.
We got the unreliable narrator dialogue from Giles. That's basically like, I don't know what happened. I like to think that they're down there living together. And because the cuts on her neck looked like gills, it's like at that point they open up and it's like, oh, she was actually a fish woman all along. Which,
well, I don't think it's that. I think he uses his magic powers to transform her something. I think it's like a transformation of something horrifying into something beautiful.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that much better than her being a fish person.
Yeah, I don't think it was trying to imply that.
Well, I walked away with the wrong impression there. But regardless, it's still like an unreliable narration in that scene, so it's
He's a god.
It's ambiguous. I'm sure, like...
I believe they're happy together.
Yeah, you're like the main you're like the narrator.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy who's coming in with
You're Michael Shannon.
I'm not Michael Shannon.
You kind of look like him.
I do not.
Michael Shannon's hot. Like a really weird way. But he's hot.
He just seems so angry all the time.
I think that's why I think he's hot. Michael Shannon's really good at acting, but he's like also extremely good at acting as playing like a horrifying individual.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You should go Michael Shannon deep dive.
That'd be an interesting one. Because, like, I feel like he doesn't play, like, the lead in a lot of... At least nothing I've seen.
Take Shelter. We should watch that. That movie's really good.
I'm down to watch it sometime. Ooh. But, yeah. So...
Remember when there was a musical sequence in this movie?
Yeah, that's...
I like that. But this movie's very weird.
Yeah, it's got a couple, like, little, like, transitionary kind of, like, sequences like that. I think my favorite one's the one where she's, like, on the bus and she, like, starts moving the raindrops. I really like that one. But, yeah.
In general, like, even though this is, like, a dark movie at times, it's, like, it is, at its core, like, a fairy tale. And it's a pretty happy one in general. Mm-hmm. Like, Michael Shannon dies. The Russian guy dies, which is sad. But, like, a lot of people survive. Only the, like, bad guys die.
Yeah.
If you believe that she survives, which I do.
I'd like to think so.
Well, especially because, like, Guillermo del Toro said that he wrote this... He's wanted to write this because he was like, what if Creature from the Black Lagoon had a happy ending?
Well,
so I'm like...
Technically, I mean... like, with semantics, you could argue that he had his happy ending about halfway through the movie. But, you know...
We didn't... I think my main gripe with the movie, we don't see his fish cock.
They have a scene where they describe it.
Yeah, he's like...
And then, like, fucking Zelda's just like, oh! But,
I like how just all her friends are just like, she's fucking a fish. We support her.
Yeah, like, I remember when this movie came out, like, I would look at the Facebook comments for, like, the sponsored promotional material, and the comments were just filled with people, this is fucking disgusting. And it's like,
that fish is hot.
First of all, no one's actually fucking a fish. It's a movie.
But if that fish was alive, I'd fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, I I don't know. It opens up a whole fucking conversation, but at the end of the day, they're like part human. I'm sure
they're part human, and it's not like I don't think that they're like
it seems
intellectually that different. I think he learns extremely fast,
yeah.
and they're also like probably a god. Like so I'm like that's fine, and probably not the first person he's fucked. Because they talk about like how they found him in like a South American area that like the village near them like worshipped it, like gave him something. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that somebody didn't want to fuck that fish guy before.
You think they go back to like South America and go back to his civilization, and he's like, all right, you gotta clear out. I got the one now.
I got the new one.
They're all just like, fuck. Then it just turns into like Ran or something, some political drama where the locals are like, we gotta kill that woman.
Yeah.
I'd watch that sequel.
Shape of Water 2. When is it gonna happen?
Never.
Shape of Water 2. This one, Best Picture?
Yeah. No.
And it deserves. I think this is.
I don't remember everything that was running up that year, but I remember that was like the last time I was like, yes. This was a good choice.
I mean, Parasite.
Parasite 2. I forgot about that. Okay, but there was... Then the Green Book won one, right?
Yeah, right after this.
Yeah, fuck. It's like they have 1 year on, 1 year off.
Yeah, so like the Best Picture nominees were fucking Shape of Water, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Phantom Thread... 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, The Post, Get Out, Lady Bird, and Call Me By Your Name. And there are things there that I legitimately really, really like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think The Shape of Water's really fucking good.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's the best movie on that list, but I'm not mad at that one. I think it definitely deserves it as much as any of the other ones.
Probably more so than something like The fucking Post. I haven't seen The Post, but...
I was thinking more in the range of, like, Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, I don't...
Which, in hindsight, with Armie Hammer, it's like, alright, but I'm not going to let him shit on how I felt about the movie at the time, and, all the other good efforts that went into that movie aside from his acting.
His cannibalism. Yeah, but Shape of Water. I think this movie's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I love this movie. Yeah.
You would give this one 9?
It's like a low 9, high 8. You would give this one, I don't know, a 10?
No, I'm also at a 9.
Okay, cool.
If they showed his cock, maybe a 10. I'm not even really joking.
Should have shown it in the final scene.
Another episode done. We're going to go take like a 5-minute break and then record next week's episode. Wow. Where we're going to be watching The Mummy from 1932.
The Mummy?
The Mummy from
1959?
59. And The Mummy from 1999. Yeah. So, tune in next week, I guess. Goodbye.
Adios.
Oh,